Record to the cloud. Recording. Cool. Hello, everybody. Now and in the future. And right now, we have Slim and Thomas hanging tough as our audience members and as no one. And if you're in the future, welcome whenever you watch this. We're a Miscreant Theatre Collective. Today, as part of our Zoom reading series, today we will be reading the script of a 1992 platform Sega Genesis game known as Kid Chameleon. The Shrink Factor, which was written by Maura Perez. It's great. It's very kooky. Deals with a lot of terrific issues, including like mental Stockholm syndrome, I feel like. I don't know when this play was written. Andy, do you know when this play was written?
2008, I believe.
2008. It's written in 2008. We believe. My name's Doron. I'm a part of the collective. We'll kind of go through, introduce ourselves, what characters we're reading, and then whenever I'm ready, on my dime, on my time, on my decision making, I will start the stage directions and we will begin. Go ahead. Whoever wants to begin, no one jump for it, do whatever you want, but introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Angela Rothermel and I am playing Craig. Thank you for watching.
I'm Stephanie. I'm playing Annie.
I'm Val. I'll be reading for Barb.
I'm Lauren. I'm reading Margaret.
I'm Anneliese. I'm reading for Jim.
I'm Gabby. I'm going to be Ted.
I'm Toby, and I'll be reading as Lucy.
Tight. Great job, everybody. We all know who you are now. You've identified yourself, and the Zoom overlords will find you and take your soul one day, I think. And then it'll be up to Neo to take us into the homeland, I guess. This is a Shrink Factor. Setting is Denver, Colorado in the 1980s. Act 1, Scene 1. At Rise, Craig and Annie enter, having just arrived home from dinner with old friends. Annie is obviously upset as they come through the door.
We weren't even at the restaurant 10 minutes and you diagnosed Sylvia with postpartum depression?
You're all worked up over nothing. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It happens to a lot of women.
Craig tries to help her take off her coat, but she turns away and removes it herself, forgetting her purse is on her arm. It falls and spills on the floor. Craig bends down to help. As he reaches for an object, she quickly grabs it away before he can.
Annie, I'm just trying to help.
That's the problem, Craig. Some people don't need or want your help. And Sylvia does not have postpartum depression.
I beg to differ. She has all the signs: trouble concentrating, anxiety, exhaustion, mood swings, all symptoms of PPD.
Of course she's exhausted, Craig, with Abigail, Faith, Charlie, and now Nikki. Adapting to being up all night again. Richard has been working overtime, so it's all been on her.
Don't you think it will help both Richard and Sylvia if they know what they're dealing with? Postpartum depression can be really serious. He will have a good reason to take some time off.
She didn't need you to analyze her. She just wanted to relax, to talk with friends. If she wanted a psychiatrist, she would have called your office.
What's wrong with saving her some money and time?
Craig, you have to give birth to have postpartum depression.
Of course you do. What are you saying?
Baby Nikki? She's adopted.
No. Are you sure?
Don't you ever listen? You need to stop this working after hours. You've got to leave it at the office.
Come on. What are you talking about?
It's not even just our friends. I saw you with the mailman on Saturday.
Who? George? We're friends.
Please, that's the first time I've ever seen you speak to George. But it's not just him. You seek people out to try and fix.
He was troubled. He approached me. He's got a case of severe anthrophobia.
He was delivering mail. He wasn't seeking your advice or asking you to probe into his... Okay. I know I will regret this. What's anthrophobia?
He's afraid of flowers.
Flowers? You're just making things up now. I might have believed spiders or dogs, but flowers? Come on.
Haven't you ever wondered why he walks all the way around the house in the summer and puts the mail in the slot by the back door instead of our perfectly good mailbox?
No, I really haven't.
Our climbing roses on the mailbox simply terrify him. I told him I could cut them down, but it might be better for him to get some therapy. You might be able to avoid spiders, but flowers? It must be a nightmare for George.
You go out of your way to talk to complete strangers about their problems, and you can't talk to me?
Craig starts looking around, searching for something in the desk drawer, under some books, etc.
We're talking.
About us? About Megan? It's been almost 3 years. At first I thought, give him time, he knows what he's doing, everyone handles grief differently. But you used to at least talk to God. We used to pray together.
Don't start, Annie. God, really? We are not having this conversation.
I know, that's the problem, right? Right there. You don't talk to him, you don't talk to me, you just diagnose, prescribe, and figure out what is best for the rest of us while you completely avoid and ignore your own feelings.
I don't ignore my feelings. I'm very capable of...
I'm aware of how capable you are, Craig. Every time I ask how you're doing, or when I want to tell you how hard it is for me, oh, I'm very aware.
Craig is still diligently searching for something and becomes a little shaky as he talks.
Oh, come on. We've had plenty of talks. I think I would know if I was... You're just upset from seeing Richard and Sylvie. I was afraid of this, that it would bring up all those emotions again, that it would set you back.
Set me back? That would be a shame now, wouldn't it? Dr. Fellows, you are the one who sent me back. You dissect my pain and you refuse to... What are you looking for?
Your stash of cigarettes? Didn't you used to hide some with the videos?
What? Why? So you can remind me again that it's a sign of instability and insecurity?
I don't know. Do you have any? They used to be all over the place.
Still the same old thing, isn't it? Anything to avoid the subject, change the focus. Well, sorry to disappoint you, but I really did quit this time. It's been almost 6 months now.
Craig looks up briefly, then continues to search.
Obviously, you don't trust me, do you? You're unbelievable.
Annie
No.
exits.
No. I really just want a puff.
He goes through her purse,
A lighter.
searches the cushions of the couch, then collapses on it.
I know they must be around here somewhere, but where would she?
Feels under the couch,
Genius!
pulls one out and puts it in his mouth. Lights up, coughs a little.
What's this? What is this? I don't understand. Such a strange sense of relief. Oh, no one ever told me it would feel like this good. It's like I've been smoking my entire life. Instant gratification, relaxation.
Pulls cigarette away from lips, a bit horrified, now holding it like it is a dirty Kleenex, and looks unsuccessfully for an ashtray.
Weakness? Instability? Did I really say that?
Puts out cigarette in a bowl he finds, begins pacing back and forth.
Is this anxiety? And this sudden urgent desire to call my mother?
Sits back down, pulls out another cigarette, lights up, paces a bit.
Can't seem to sit still. Obviously can't go to bed. Maybe I'll just review my sessions. Record them for Margaret.
Takes briefcase to the table and pulls out a notebook and small tape recorder. Begins looking through his notes.
Nancy O'Brien. Nothing much there. Mostly communication issues. Need some assertiveness training to learn how to stand up for herself. Okay. Ted Buckner.
Turns on and starts speaking into the tape recorder.
Ted Buckner, 31 years old, chain smoker, nervous, fidgety, overly defensive of a tattoo of his mother's face. Basically, an 8x10 that takes up the front side of his entire right shoulder and half of his chest. Ted insisted on showing it to me. He also expressed his desire to find someone to settle down with, someone who can accept that his mom is his best friend. Said he would even consider marriage if he found the right woman.
Turns off recorder and bursts out laughing.
I really don't know how I sat through this one.
Turns on.
Ted realizes that any girl he dates will need to be really secure in who she is. Believe it or not, Ted's Oedipus complex is not why he is seeking therapy. He believes his overconfidence and control issues are making it impossible to find the right woman.
Shuts off recorder.
Ted, you have some major denial going on. Sure, those things might be contributing to the problem, but come on. Could it be they might not want to wake up every morning in bed with your mother? Gives a whole new meaning to the thought of having a mother-in-law looking over your shoulder. Secure? The woman would have to be insane. World's gone crazy. Job security, I guess.
Turns recorder on, suddenly somber.
Ted is also concerned with
Turns off recorder.
Ted Buckner. It was right after I left that office. I started craving cigarettes. He tried to light up 3 times in my office, much to my disgust.
Puts cigarette in his mouth.
I even took the 3rd one right out of his mouth before he could light it. And oh Lord, his obsession with his mother? I haven't spoken to Mom in 2 years, and after Ted, I can't stop thinking about her.
Lights cigarette.
This is stupid. I am obviously having some kind of...
Notices cigarette, quickly puts it out.
empathetic reaction to Ted Buckner? Maybe just because of my problems with my own mother? And what's with the smoking? I've never smoked before in my entire life. I just voted to keep it out of public places. I am not a smoker.
Picks up the phone and dials.
Mom? Voicemail. Hi, Mom. It's Craig. I know it's been a really long time. Call me back when you get this. We need to talk.
Lights. Act 1, Scene 2. Lights come up to a disheveled Craig sleeping on the couch, an Afghan falling off of him. Annie enters, dressed for work, and fixes the blanket to cover Craig.
Good morning.
Morning. I didn't mean for you to sleep on the couch. Wow, why does it smell like a bar in here? Gross, you've been smoking?
Maybe. A little. What time is it?
A little after.
Annie looks ill, grabs her mouth, and walks as fast as she can toward a bathroom door.
Seven.
Craig is straightening, folding the Afghan, yawning, stretching. Vomiting can be heard, maybe the flush of a toilet. Annie comes back, opens a window, breathes in fresh air, sprays some air freshener.
You okay? I'm sorry, it is rather bleak in here.
I will be. Look, I don't want to fight anymore. I really just need to talk with you.
I don't know. With your weak stomach, I might have a chance to win for a change.
Not funny.
But it looks like there's a start of a smile on your face.
Okay, maybe a little. So, what did you think of Nikki last night?
Cute. Looks like Sylvia, which explains why I thought,
Come on, she's adorable.
oh no. I know where you're going with this, Annie. I thought you said you don't want to fight. I really don't want to have this argument again.
It's not an argument, Craig. It's a discussion.
A discussion? No, that's not what this is. It's about you getting your way. I understand you wanting to have another child. That's very natural, especially after everything.
Why can't you just say it, Craig? After losing your little girl, our little girl, after Megan died. Of course, I would want something to fill that void, that ache. Does that sum it up, Dr. Fellows?
Yes, that's what I meant.
I know, but it's not what you said. I know from these last few years without her that nothing will ever fill that hole. It is just the state of being. She will always be missing here.
It is good you are able to express your grief that way. That's progress.
Please, don't start analyzing my progress unless you're willing to talk about your own. I thought so. I do want more children, Craig. Not to fill the void, but just because it's always been my heart. A big family, a house full of children's laughter. And we're getting older.
I understand.
I don't want you to understand. I want you to want it too. Like we planned before we lost Meg.
It's just, I really can't have any more kids, Annie. You have to understand. I just can't.
Well, I'm afraid you can. In fact, you did. So you're right, Craig. No need for discussion. You can and you did.
What? What? You're pregnant? How could you?
Craig puts a cigarette in his mouth and starts chewing it.
Obviously, it wasn't just me, Craig.
But it was just that one time. I mean, how? How did you let this? How did you? You did this on purpose, didn't you?
You're joking, right?
No, you planned this. That's why you quit smoking.
Yeah, I planned it. How could I? I mean, it was just the one time, like you said, and that was a big enough surprise since it had been, 6 months? But it was nice. It reminded me of how it used to be. And I really needed that. At the time, I thought maybe it was a new start, but
Now you're just trying to change the subject.
I was just as surprised as you, Craig. I didn't even suspect. Jeremy Hergenrader told me just a few days ago.
Who's Jeremy Herminator?
A very intuitive little boy in my class. It was so sweet. He came up and just said it. Mrs. Fellows, what are you going to name your baby? And I was just dumbfounded. But when he asked, I just knew it was true. Later, I asked how he knew. He said I looked like his mom before she had his little sister. That my face was all shiny and my skin was happy.
Annie, Jeremy Humancipator hardly sounds credible. I mean, what is he, 8?
Wise beyond his years. Dr. Nichols confirmed it yesterday. And do you know what else Jeremy said?
I don't know, Annie. Triplets?
I'm ignoring that. He pointed right at Megan's picture on my desk and he said, I bet your daughter's real happy about the baby. I know he's right, Craig. Megan always wanted a little brother or sister. I know she's happy about this baby.
You're happy about it. And you know I'm not ready.
Keeps putting cigarette in and pulling it out of his mouth.
Of course not. You can't even talk about Megan after all this time. I have to go to other people to talk about our daughter, the best part of me and you. Sometimes the only good part I remember. Do you realize Megan would have been in 3rd grade this year? And when my students come in every day, I actually look for her. Oh, I know she's not there, but I still look and wonder. And I think, God, would she be as tall as Jennifer? Or a Girl Scout like Stacy? Would she still insist on wearing dresses every day? Or would she be more of a tomboy now like I was? And I think about how I would tell the class, this is my daughter. She will get extra hugs. I will show favoritism. She gets to sit wherever she wants. I will give her things that the rest of you do not get. And you stand there and tell me I'm happy about this baby like that is a bad thing? God knows I haven't been this happy for a long time, Craig. And I'm not going to pretend for you either. I'm happy. I'm so happy, and I'm going to be happy so the whole world can see how happy I am.
Annie exits sobbing. Lights. Act 2, Scene 1. At Rise, we are in Craig's office. Margaret is typing on her computer in the waiting room and singing with passion. Craig enters the waiting room from the stage right door, unnoticed by Margaret.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Hello, Dr. Fellows.
Morning, Margaret. What have we got this morning?
Lucy, Simmons, and Harrison should be here any minute. Jim Nader at 10 and Claudia Hastings at 11:30. About Mr. Nader, he's such a nice man.
Yeah, sure. Nice man.
Well, he shared with me once that he has obsessive compulsive disorder, and I was just wondering, is that something he can get over?
Craig pulls out a pack of gum with one stick left, unwraps it and puts it in his mouth, throws out the pack, showing he is anxious that the pack is empty.
Get over Margaret? You mean like a cold or the chickenpox?
Well, I understand it's not that easy. It's just that there are so many men out there with problems. I just thought, well, at least with Jim, it's already, diagnosed out in the open.
Out in the open. Well, I suppose OCD might be considered something you could live with.
Really? You think so?
Absolutely. As long as you don't need any attention.
I do require some attention.
Well, Margaret, if you think your last boyfriend, what was his name? Keith?
No, Robert. Keith was before Seth. So he was the one before Robert.
Right. Okay, if you think any of your past boyfriends have been distracted, say by other women or sports or anything really.
They have. That Seth, he was distracted by both. He was really into women's sports.
So you kind of get the idea. Now try to imagine a distraction that is an endless cycle where the brain just keeps rethinking the same thing. For instance, say your brain kept telling you that the coffee pot is going to catch on fire, and you just have the same thought over and over, and it doesn't stop there. It's tenacious.
Tenacious.
Yes, it just keeps pushing itself above all other thoughts and bullies your mind into thinking that if you don't turn off the coffee pot, unplug it, and put it in the sink, not only will it catch on fire, but it will burn down the office and kill everyone inside.
It's not even plugged in, Dr. Fellows.
Hypothetically, Margaret.
Of course. I see what you mean. That's horrible.
So you do that, turn it off, unplug it, maybe even get rid of it altogether.
You mean give up coffee?
Probably, because those thoughts won't leave you alone. Just like the mean kid who steals your lunch money every day in the 5th grade.
Yes, but I could. I could definitely do that. I could give up coffee for Mr. Nader.
So, not the point I was making.
But he's so, well, he's so...
I know. He's so cute. I know he's cute.
You do?
Craig holding a pencil like a cigarette and chewing his gum more exaggerated.
No, you do. But it doesn't matter, Margaret. It's unethical for you to date a patient.
Yes, but technically, I'm not his doctor. You are.
Yes, and as his doctor and as your boss, I advise you to forget it.
Enters Lucy with Harrison.
Oh, baby, it's okay. It's not the vet, just Dr. Fellows. You like Dr. Fellows, remember? Hi, Margaret. Dr. Fellows.
Good morning, Lucy. You and Harrison can go on in and make yourself comfortable. I will be with you in just a minute.
Nice to see you, Lucy.
Lucy and Harrison head into Craig's office and sit down. Lucy picks up a magazine and looks at it.
Lucy, Lucy, leave Jim Nader alone. He has enough to deal with, and I want you to keep your job.
Starts to walk toward his office, then turns around.
Oh, and Margaret, send my mother a bouquet of flowers, something with daisies.
Really? Your mother?
Yes, she always liked daisies.
What do you want the card to say?
Thinking about you. I miss you. Your son, Craig.
Really?
Yes, really. What do you mean, really?
It's just, I thought you and your mother weren't speaking.
I'm trying to remedy that.
Enters office and pats Harrison on the head.
Hello, Lucy.
Hi, Dr. Fellows. Harrison and I were just reading about Donald Trump. I wish that man would do something with his hair. It's just not natural. We think Bernard could really help him, don't we, Harrison? Bernard has done wonders for all my pets. Harrison just had a shampoo and styling, but it really hasn't perked him up like it usually does. You love Bernard, don't you, Harrison? You see what I mean? I don't think he's been feeling well. Frankly, I'm worried about him.
Well, he looks pretty good to me. Shiny coat, fluffy tail. What's he been eating?
Eating? He's dead, right, Dr. Fellows?
Yes, of course. He's dead.
It's just, he's looking rather sad. If I didn't know better, I would say he's ill. I mean, His eyes look almost glassy. It's kind of depressing to be around him today.
Craig stands up and goes over and pets Harrison.
No, he looks pretty good to me. Here, let me see him.
Craig takes Harrison and examines him as he returns to his seat and settles Harrison on his lap, petting him as he talks.
Almost lifelike. You know, Lucy, it might not be Harrison who is changing. Did you have a chance to think about what we discussed at your last appointment?
Yes, transference. I've been thinking about it a lot. If there was anything else that might have happened around the loss of my first pet, well, Harrison was my first pet. Dad gave him to me on my 6th birthday, when he gave me Lincoln when I was 13.
Yes, Lincoln. Lincoln is the tabby cat, right?
No, you're thinking of Mary Todd. Lincoln is my Great Dane. You haven't met him yet. He's rather shy. Kids used to tease him through the fence. He's got issues, but I don't think he's quite ready to see you yet.
Craig is chewing on a pencil and begins sniffling while noticing the dog more.
Dr. Fellows, are you all right?
I'm sorry. Must be some kind of allergy. Please, go on.
Okay. Anyway, Mary Todd and I discussed it, what you said about examining my emotions associated with each pet, and that maybe I've used each of them to deal with something else in my life. And it really makes sense.
Craig is wiping his eyes, grabs a tissue, and blows his nose.
It does?
Dr. Fellows, I don't think it's allergies.
So sorry. For some reason, I keep remembering my little Mitzi.
Mitzi?
She died when I was 8. She was so beautiful. Black. A kitten, really, with a bit of white on the tip of her tail. I was just thinking how nice it would be to have her here. Maybe I could have taken her to...
Looks at Harrison and then whispers over him.
Well, you know, but after the car hit her, well, it just wouldn't have worked.
Grabs the tissue and blows his nose.
I'm so sorry, Dr. Fellows. I had no idea.
Yeah, well, I usually don't. It's just so nice that you have Harrison here.
It is? But I thought you said he's just, what was it? A coping mechanism, because I have such a hard time dealing with real people.
Craig stands up and reluctantly gives Harrison back to Lucy, speaks when his back is to them.
That's right. I did say that. A coping mechanism. Yes, something you are using so you don't have to deal with real life, real people.
Turns back around and can't help himself, starts petting Harrison again.
But what a comfort to have Harrison and Mary Todd and
Lincoln?
of course, Lincoln. I just wish Mitzi could have met Harrison here.
Dabs his eyes and quickly snatches Harrison back and sits down.
Oh. Oh. I see what you're doing here, Dr. Fellows. You're showing me the way I rationalize my obsession. I think I understand.
You do?
And you know what? You're right.
I am?
Totally. Last week when you asked me to pinpoint the time period when Harrison died, I thought about it, and it was right after Al.
Al?
Al Rodgers. He was my best friend in 5th grade. I had thought about him in a long time. We used to have so much fun. He loved Harrison, and he was so
Cute?
well, Yes. Al was what we used to call a hunk. At least I thought so. He had curly black hair and he wore thick glasses, but underneath his glasses, his eyes were this deep blue and warm, kind of like yours, Dr. Fellows. I never noticed before. You have very nice eyes.
Thank you, Lucy, but please go on, Al.
Well, we were inseparable until the beginning of 7th grade. Then I fell in love with him and ruined everything. All because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I wrote him a poem to let him know how I felt. Something like, Hal, you've been a great pal, but I can't ignore the way my heart beats when you're near.
Wow!
Yeah, he was so disgusted. He never spoke to me again. I tried to blame it on the poetry. It was me.
You must have been devastated.
I pretended it didn't matter, but I felt really alone. Al and I had done everything together.
Losing your best friend because you revealed your feelings, that is difficult. Did you ever tell anyone? Your mom and dad? A teacher? A friend?
Not really. My parents were pretty much unavailable, and I had spent so much time with Al that I didn't have any girlfriends. Harrison was the only one I confided in.
And then?
Then Harrison died.
Poor Harrison.
Wraps arms around Harrison, patting him.
I was inconsolable. So Mom had a friend who was a taxidermist. And, well, you know the rest.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I was so sick with sorrow, and then when I got Harrison back, he became more of a confidant than then he was alive. Transference, isn't that what you said, Dr. Fellows?
Good work, Lucy. You weren't mourning just for Harrison. You put all your feelings for Al and the loss of your friendship into your grief.
I think so. Gee, this feels incredible, Dr. Fellows. I feel like a heavy weight has been lifted off of me.
Gets up to go.
Like, we have really made some progress here.
I believe you have.
Craig stands with Harrison in his arms.
Not exactly sure how we got there, but it's great. Absolutely wonderful, really.
Craig and Lucy exit to the waiting room. Craig is still holding Harrison.
Okay, Lucy, same time next week?
Oh, no. I think I will just call Dr. Fellows next week and maybe, check in. Maybe I'll pop in the following week. There's a carnival in my church next Wednesday, and I think they could use my help getting ready. Doesn't a carnival sound like fun? Thanks. Thank you so much, Dr. Fellows. Thanks, Margaret.
Lucy exits, leaving Harrison behind.
Okay, what is going on, Dr. Fellows?
I'm not sure. How long has Lucy been seeing me?
About 1.5 years, but before you, she's been in treatment somewhere for most of her adult life. And she's never missed a Tuesday since she's been coming to see you. Every Tuesday, 9 a.m., Lucy Simmons. And Dr. Fellows, why are you still holding Harrison?
Craig panics that he's still holding Harrison, starts pacing with Harrison now at arm's length.
I don't know. But it's a good sign, right? For Lucy, I mean. She's never left anyone behind before, right?
No, not ever.
And this is really good news for her. Oh, I really need a cigarette.
What?
Can't explain right now, Margaret, but do you have any gum?
I think so.
Pulls a pack from her drawer.
Here, take the whole pack.
Thanks. I used my last piece. And please, please put on some coffee. I need some kind of psychostimulant. Give us some time, Margaret. We'll be in the office. Let me know when Jim gets here.
Goes back in the office and sits down, still petting Harrison. Puts a couple sticks of gum in his mouth and grabs his tape recorder.
September 18th. Lucy Simmons seems to have had a breakthrough. Could just be a short remission. She seemed more relaxed when she left than I have ever seen her before. Very unusual for Lucy, who is normally depressed and extremely anxious. She even left one of her pets, Harrison, behind. This is unprecedented for Lucy, who would never abandon one of her deceased.
Looks at Harrison.
I'm sorry, beloved pets.
Shuts off his shoulder.
Oh, for goodness sakes. I can't seem to let go of the mud. What is happening? This has to stop.
Puts Harrison on the floor and pastes his turning recorder back on.
And I cried during the session over
Voice becomes high / cracks.
little Mitzi.
Clears throat.
Mitzi, the cat who died when I was 8. The cat I haven't thought about since I was 9. And now I'm worried about Fluffy, who still lives with my mom. Mom, I've got to call her.
Shuts off recorder, picks up phone and dials.
Answering machine again? Mom, it's me, Craig. I know this is weird, me calling you again, especially when we haven't spoken in so long, but I'm just wondering, how are you? And well, how is Fluffy doing? I've just been thinking about him today, and I just thought I would ask. All right. Please call me back when you get this. It's important. Bye, Mom.
Hangs up, sits down on the floor, puts Harrison on his lap, and starts speaking to him.
Harrison, I hope she hasn't let him wander outside, because I would hate it if Fluffy got out. Ugh, Harrison, this is absurd. I can't even remember the last time I saw Fluffy. It's just he is the only other pet I had besides Mitzi. What's going on? I am acting like Lucy. No, I am feeling like Lucy. My heart is racing. I feel almost dizzy. Harrison, I have to be calm. I have to calm down. There must be some kind of reasonable explanation for all of this.
Craig stays seated on the floor and can be seen talking to Harrison. Margaret is typing on her computer when Jim Nader enters. Jim, shyly and with a Texan accent.
Good morning, ma'am. Is the doc in?
Good morning, Jim. Yes, he is. Why don't you have a seat, and I'll let Dr. Fellows know you're here.
Knocks on the office door and goes in, closing the door behind her.
Dr. Fellows, Jim Nader's here. Dr. Fellows?
Jim pulls out a handkerchief from his back pocket, unfolds it and refolds it several times before he puts it down carefully on the chair, picking it up and putting it down again, and then sits on the edge of it.
I'll be right there, Margaret.
Are you meditating or something?
No, please, Margaret, just give me a few minutes.
She exits.
This is crazy, Harrison. I am just feeling empathy for Lucy. That's all. Maybe I'm becoming an empath. I really need a cigarette.
Gets up and grabs a pencil from the desk and begins chewing on it, spits out gum.
Mitzi, I just forgot how much I loved her. And Lucy just brought up that old feeling, which of course would make me empathetic. That's it, Harrison. I just need more sleep. Less work, maybe a weekend away. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We just need a little rest.
Craig keeps talking to Harrison, gets a book off the shelf, paces with Harrison, sits in his chair, reads to Harrison while Jim and Margaret talk.
He'll be just a few minutes, Jim.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. You know, I was noticing that your computer has some dust on the cords there. I could take care of that for you.
Oh, that's okay, Jim. We have a cleaning service that comes in weekly.
Jim gets up and grabs some tissues.
Oh, no. It's not a problem. And it really should be taken care of. Dust is not good for computers. It can cause some big time static electricity, and I would hate it if you got shocked when I could have done something to stop it from happening.
Carefully dusts the individual cords.
That's so sweet of you. So, Jim, did you grow up on a ranch in Texas?
No, ma'am.
Really? Come on, your accent gives you away. It's got to be Texas.
Well, it is. Kind of.
I knew it. Somewhere close to Texas, right?
Well, actually, right here in Denver.
Denver? No, that can't be.
Oh, that's right. Born and raised.
That means you had to develop your accent all on your own?
Well, I never thought of it like that, but yes, ma'am.
Interesting. I'd say that took some real talent on your part.
Why, thank you, ma'am.
Please, call me Margaret. I feel like an old lady when you call me ma'am.
Jim stands up.
Margaret, I guess. Margaret, it is then. And if you don't mind me saying so, Margaret, you surely ain't old.
Blushes, returns to dusting the cord. Margaret is gushing.
Why, thank you, Jim.
Craig enters waiting room, still clutching Harrison.
Hello, Jim. Come on in.
Oh, be right there, Dr. Fellows.
Jim gets up, goes to get his handkerchief, smooths it out, folds it, and refolds it many times before finally putting it in his back pocket. Margaret is staring at Jim dreamily.
Don't worry, Jim. You just take your time.
Margaret.
Hmm?
Snap out of it, Margaret.
Oh, sorry, Dr. Fellows. What can I do for you?
Craig tries to give Harrison to Margaret.
Here. I need you to keep an eye on Harrison.
Ew, I don't think so.
Take him. For goodness sake, he doesn't bite.
Margaret tries to take him, but every time she reaches out, she pulls her hands back.
Oh, I just can't. Why don't you set him on the chair? Dead things make me nervous, Dr. Fellows.
Craig sets him down.
You don't have to worry, Margaret. He's a good boy, aren't you, Harrison? All right, then. Jim, are you ready?
I'll be there in a jiff, Doc.
Jim enters and closes the door, pauses, looking at the door. Then he pulls on a rubber band he is wearing on his wrist and snaps it hard.
Oh, I hope. That was a good one.
How's the rubber band working for you, Jim?
It helps me some. Like, just now, I was thinking I needed to open and shut that door, and open and shut that door to make sure it won't catch you coming in and hurt you somehow.
Jim goes to sit down and goes through the ritual with his handkerchief again while he speaks.
I was having that thought, and then kerplow! I zapped it with this old rubber band. I just wish I could not have to have all of these thoughts anymore. You know, Doc, I'm plumb worn out. Even Margaret out there thinks my accent's cute, but I talk like this because of the OCD. I wanted to be a cowboy because cowboys were always the heroes in those old westerns. I used to watch with my grandpa. The Lone Ranger and John Wayne always saved the day, and usually the girl rode off into the sunset, and If you're going to be a real live cowboy, then by golly, you got to have yourself an accent. I remember having that argument with myself for several weeks in high school before I knew about the OCD. Then all of a sudden, guess who had an accent?
Really?
Makes a note in his book between chewing on his pencil.
I had no idea. It sounds so authentic.
Well, I started listening to the country radio station, and then Miss Davies, my chemistry teacher, she didn't help none. I was sweet on Miss Davies, and she was from Texas. I raised my hand in class one day, and when she called on me, I sounded like I had just stepped off of the set of Dallas.
What did Miss Davies do?
Are you kidding? She thought I was making fun of her, especially when everybody started hooting and hollering. She never called on me again, but the accent stuck. I just couldn't shut it down. Too bad, too, because Miss Davies was real nice, and I couldn't talk to her after that. I so wanted to apologize, but she would have thought I was still making fun of her. Everyone else just thought I was a freak.
You're not a freak, Jim.
Craig pulls out a piece of gum and puts it in his mouth.
Everyone has problems. OCD just makes yours more visible. You wanted to impress Miss Davies. You wanted to be a Western hero. The behavior of the accent covers both of these things, and the OCD adds to it in the constant thoughts of trying to make everything safe.
You don't know what I'd give, Doc, for just one day. Just one.
Well, that's what we're working towards, making the thoughts less powerful. Your previous therapist had you use the rubber band, and it still seems to be working?
Yeah, sort of. It distracts me and all, so I can sometimes skip the behavior, like with doors.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, good, but it doesn't stop the thoughts.
What about the handkerchief? Why didn't you try the rubber band with the handkerchief?
Why? I'm not sure. I suppose I just accept the handkerchief as part of keeping things clean, and cleanliness is just really a habit for me now.
But you wear the gloves and sit on the handkerchief. You don't feel it is something you have to do?
I suppose I do. I guess I've just been doing it so long it just feels natural and safer if I do those things. I mean, no offense, Doc, but how do you know who sits in those chairs?
Craig suddenly jumps up, looks fearfully at the chair he was sitting in.
Oh. It's just a chair, just a regular old chair, Jim.
I know. It's just, well, without these tools,
Holds up gloved hands.
I wouldn't feel safe. They help me function in the real world with all the unknowns.
Craig grabs a tissue and begins wiping his hands.
Does it feel like you're functioning?
Sometimes, and then other times it feels like I'm just trying to survive.
I think it might be time to try something different, Jim. Cognitive therapy. The rituals of behaviors result from trying to placate the unwanted thoughts. So I want you to let the thought come, but give it a limit and refuse to do its bidding.
You mean ignore them? I've tried that, Doc. They won't be ignored.
No.
As he speaks.
No. You give the thought 10 minutes where you pay complete attention to it. Deliberately think about it and listen to the thought. But you also intentionally refuse to perform the ritual it is telling you to do. I think this might help you take back control of your thoughts.
Craig looks at his hands, which he is still rubbing, and puts them in his pockets.
Don't you want to sit down, Doc?
No. I've been sitting all morning. I know this will be hard, Jim, but I want you to give this a try. Set 2 times each day. Say in the morning and in mid-afternoon. Then let the current obsessive thought come, or focus on one that's been a real battle lately.
Like the Band-Aid?
Sure, the Band-Aid. That's a good example. Only in this case, instead of picking up a dirty old Band-Aid, I want you to make a dirty Band-Aid and throw it down the street. And then for 10 minutes, set a timer. Just let your mind obsess about the Band-Aid and all the things that might happen because it is lying in the street.
Well, when I found that one on the street, I thought about how some child might pick it up and catch some kind of disease.
Really? I can see that happening. I mean, good. That's exactly it.
So I picked it up.
Yes, but no, you can't pick it up this time. You just have to sit and give yourself permission to allow the thoughts and listen to them, but you can't act on them.
Well, then I thought the child could die from the disease. And then I thought about the parents, his mom and dad would be heartbroken, and it would be my fault.
Yeah, they could blame you for the death of their child.
But I'm not supposed to pick it up?
Of course, you have to pick it up.
What?
Craig is distraught, shoves several more pieces of gum in his mouth, making sure each wrapper gets in the trash can.
No. You did pick it up, but not this time. This time you don't. This time you leave it in the street. And then when the timer goes off, you don't allow that thought any more time. You think about something else, anything else except the Band-Aid. Do you think you can do that, Jim?
Well, sure, but Doc, just talking about it with you, I feel much better. Last time, I picked it up and then I was going to throw it away, but then I couldn't throw it away in a public trash can, just in case a homeless person dug through the garbage and got sick from the Band-Aid. Isn't that crazy?
I'm not so sure. Homeless people do dig through the trash and they probably get sick from it sometimes.
So then I was going to throw it down in the grate in the street until I thought if it rains, then the street could flood and the Band-Aid would float right back up to the street, and it would have even more bacteria on it than the same child I had saved might just find it anyway and die anyway. See how my mind works, Doc?
Well, you can never be too careful.
Starts turning the knob back and forth on the door.
Finally, after 2 days, I went to the hospital and threw it in one of those safety containers.
Oh, thank God.
Doc?
It's good, right? Good that you finally got rid of it.
Craig begins opening and closing the door repetitively.
Doc, talking to you like this, I'm actually having normal thoughts. Like, I was just thinking I would really like one of those greasy cheeseburgers at Riley's for lunch.
But you wouldn't really eat one of those, would you? Because, well, arteriosclerosis, heart attack, not to mention indigestion. It's not pretty, Jim.
No worries. I mean, I am really not worried about it at all. Wow. I can't remember the last time I could say that. Okay, you can stop now, Doc.
Stop what?
The door. I get the hint. Okay, my time's up. Thank you so much, Doc.
Grabs Craig's grabs Craig's hand and shakes it firmly. Craig looks at his hand in horror. Jim exits, talks quietly to Margaret.
Ew. I don't know where those gloves have been.
Goodbye, Miss Margaret. You might want to keep an eye on the doc there. He's acting a little funny.
Thanks, Jim.
He's Craig.
I mean, Mr. Nader. We'll see you next week.
See you then.
Lifts his hat and turns to leave. Pulls on the rubber band on his wrist by the door, but doesn't snap it.
False alarm.
Exits.
Margaret, you got any of those wipey things or the stuff that takes the germs off your hands?
Hand sanitizer? Sure, Dr. Fellows. Dr. Fellows, do you think Mr. Nader might be going to the state fair?
Hands bottle of sanitizer to Craig.
I don't know. Maybe with this whole cowboy thing.
While Margaret talks, Craig takes hand sanitizer into his office, rubs it on his hands, picks up handkerchief Jim left behind, puts it in his pocket, rubs in more hand sanitizer, wraps 2 tissues around his briefcase handle to carry it. Margaret loudly so that Craig can hear.
Well, if 2 people just happened to run into each other at the fair, I mean, that wouldn't be considered a date, would it?
Give it up, Margaret. I'm not changing my mind. You cannot date Jim Nader. End of story.
Where are you going?
Home.
Home? But what about Claudia Hastings? She'll be here any minute.
Claudia. Oh, no.
Starts opening and closing the door to his office and counting.
What are you doing?
Claudia Hastings, are you kidding? I have got to get out of here. She's a kleptomaniac. Give me a rubber band. Hurry.
I don't understand. Dr. Fellows, what's going on?
I can't explain. Just hurry.
Margaret hands him a rubber band. He puts it on his wrist and snaps it hard and is able to walk into the lobby.
Ow. Oh, Harrison. I can't leave you here.
Grabs handkerchief from his pocket, wraps it around Harrison, picks him up.
Don't just stand there, Margaret. Open the door.
Sure, Dr. Fellows, sure, but...
Cancel all my appointments for the rest of the week. Take a vacation. Do something fun.
Okay, but the only thing really happening right now is...
And Margaret, I know this is going to sound strange, but throw away that coffee pot.
Exits.
Sure, Dr. Fellows, that's what I do, follow orders.
Picks up coffee pot and puts it in the trash can.
Besides, I was not going to let you burn down the building. I think that Jim Nader is having a strange effect on both of us. I really should look into it.
Starts looking into a Rolodex.
I mean, what would it hurt? It's not like Jim likes me, not really. We could just hang out, go to the rodeo, have a cup of coffee. No, not coffee, that's a bad idea. But I do love cotton candy.
Lights and curtains. Act 3, Scene 1. Scene opens to find Craig with a pot holder glove on one hand and a rubber dishwashing glove on the other hand. He's holding a toilet brush and has the phone to his ear. Harrison is sitting on the dining room table.
Mom, it's me again. I just need your help with something. What kind of cleaner do you use on the toilet? Annie's got Comet, but I'm not sure that's the best thing to kill germs. Are you okay, Mom? I'm a little worried. You haven't returned any of my calls. Well, I guess I will just use the Comet. Maybe throw in a little Listerine for good measure. Bye, Mom. Oh, and call me, please.
Hangs up.
Of course, she could be holding a grudge, but no, Mom's well. She used to read me stories and she would play hopscotch with me, marbles. She always made time. Comet and Listerine it is. This bathroom must be clean. Clean enough for you to drink out of, right, Harrison? What am I doing? Worrying about my mother, toilet germs, and talking to the stiff? I'm sorry, Harrison. It's just that apologizing to the stiff. It's this What's that guy's name? Something Beck.
Looks through some books on his bookshelf.
Beck. There it is. Erin T. Beck. Anxiety disorders and phobias. A cognitive perspective.
Flips through the book, but starts turning the radio on and off while he is flipping. Annie enters quietly.
It's no use, Harrison. I can't get past the first 3 words. All I can think about is flicking the switch to make sure no electrical currents are going to shoot out.
Hi, honey.
Oh, Annie. Don't sneak up on me like that.
I didn't think you'd be home yet.
Notice his pot holder.
Are you cooking something?
No, I was just researching something for work.
I thought I heard you talking to someone.
Harrison, this is Annie. Annie Harrison is going to be staying with us for a while.
Harrison? Is this some kind of joke?
I can't talk about this now. We have to clean the toilet. Come on, boy.
Craig picks up Harrison and exits stage left.
Clean the toilet. Craig, what's going on? Craig?
Follows Craig off stage. Lights. Act 3, Scene 2. Lights come up dimly in dining area and spot on Craig in family room area. Craig is now wearing black gloves that are easy to move his hands in. He takes a handkerchief out of his back pocket and unfolds, refolds, and unfolds it to sit on. He then pulls out another handkerchief, refolds it, and places it on his own lap to set Harrison on. Looks around before placing Harrison on his lap.
Okay. We checked the faucets at least 5 times. I brought in that bucket of plugs from the garage. What is it about you, old boy? Why is it so easy to talk to you? Like about Mitzi. I've been remembering more about her, about what happened. It was Dad. He saw me first. I was crying right after I found her. He thought I was crying because he told me to mow the lawn. I tried to tell him. I really tried. But he couldn't. Well, he yelled at me. What are you doing? I'm not raising no cry baby. And then he spanked me. Then once he knew he yelled at me again, I told you not to let her outside. What were you thinking? I suppose maybe he was embarrassed after I told him when he realized what he had done. So then he blamed me to let himself off the hook. That was a horrible day. I guess I understood a little more once I became a father.
Puts Harrison down, folds handkerchief on his lap, puts it in back pocket.
It's so hard, Harrison. You worry about being good enough, and then you never really are. Not when it really matters. I've seen it with my patients. Those big hopes of being different than the old man, and you hope you are. You make a conscious effort to be gentler, to listen, to love better. But we all fail. We somehow all fail.
Craig walks over and picks up Megan's picture. For his next lines, as he speaks in the shadows, we see Annie enter with a laundry basket full of unfolded clothes. She stops where Craig can't see her and listens.
Even Megan was starting to get glimpses that I wasn't who she imagined. I was her hero, Harrison. Maybe you know what that's like. It was amazing and terrifying all at the same time, especially when you realize you have absolutely no superpowers. And that sooner or later, they'll see you for who you really are. The first time I held Megan, I was dazzled. I couldn't believe God would trust me with such a beautiful, fragile, perfect being.
Craig puts Megan's picture back and picks up a small doll sitting next to it.
This is Dee Dee. Annie bought her, but she let me give her to Meg. It was when Meg first got sick. She had a fever, but she was shivering. I came in to tuck her in, and I gave her the doll. She took her and said, "It's Dee Dee. She looks just like Dee Dee." Dee Dee was her imaginary friend who went everywhere with us. Several months before she was sick, I had to run to the store for something. What was it? I don't know. I told Megan to get in her car seat and buckle up. I was in such a hurry, but she was off messing with the other seatbelt and she couldn't get it to buckle. I told her again, and she was still messing with trying to get it to work. Then I snapped, "Megan, what are you doing? I told you to get in your seat right now." She was so hurt. My baby, my girl. I made her cry. When I calmed down, I apologized and I asked her why she wasn't listening to what I had told her to do. She said, "I was just trying to keep Dee Dee safe, Daddy. Just trying to buckle up her imaginary friend." So the doll got Dee Dee's name. I hated to see her so sick. I felt so helpless, and yet she still worked it out that I was her hero. When she held her new doll, her eyes got all sparkly. "How did you know, Daddy? How did you know?" Suddenly I was magic. She fell asleep, holding Dee Dee, and I sat there, feeling that despite it all, I was the one who made the world spin.
Craig sits back down on the handkerchief, still holding Dee Dee. He is rocking Dee Dee back and forth. Annie, still in the shadows, is seen in shakes of sobbing. She rises, wipes her eyes, and exits the way she came in. Lights fade out. Act 3, Scene 3. The next day, late afternoon, lights come up on Annie, looking through Psychology Today.
Absolutely nothing about instantaneous chain smoking, sudden electrical neurosis, or how to kill a dog that's already dead.
Doorbell rings.
That's right, Harrison. Consider yourself warned.
Opens front door.
Oh, Barb. Thank God you're here. Craig, well, he's completely mad. He's fixing things and then he's checking everything, not just once, but over and over, and I'm not sure what to do. Do I call a doctor? Craig always says how important mental health is, but you don't just call anyone. Oh, thank God you're here. Did I say that already?
Barb, carrying a box, she sets on the table.
I knew something was wrong, and I would have been here sooner, but I didn't hear any of the messages until about an hour ago. I was shocked to hear Craig's voice. Really excited at first, since it's been so long. Then after about the sixth message, I knew I better get over here. He seemed extremely anxious, especially about Fluffy.
Fluffy is just part of it. He's got a new friend. Here, let me introduce you. This is Harrison.
Oh, how nice. He got a little dog.
Gets closer look.
Oh.
So, he spends a lot of time talking to Harrison. In fact, much more time than he talks to me these days.
What do they discuss?
Mostly safety issues. He gave me dust masks for the entire third grade for our trip to the zoo today.
Dust masks?
To prevent us from catching the flu. Craig must have lectured me for 20 minutes until I agreed to wear
Did you?
Them out to the kids.
Did you?
Actually, yes. I gave the children their masks and we all drew animal mouths on them. And we made headbands with ears of giraffes, monkeys, and tigers. I told them it was so we would fit in at the zoo. It would have been better if it had been a little closer to Halloween, but the kids all had fun with it.
You're incredible.
Then I got the 3rd degree when I came home. Did I keep the mask on the whole time? Did I make sure and wash my hands? I think it's the baby. You know, I told him.
Oh, that's great, Annie.
I don't know. I mean, other than showing a strange paranoia and sudden bizarre behaviors, oh, and taking his smoking outside, I haven't really seen anything positive from telling him.
Smoking? Craig? No way.
Oh, I haven't gotten to that yet, have I? I can't figure out if he's having a nervous breakdown or if he's just in shock from the news.
Lights go on and off several times in the kitchen.
What was that?
That's your son. He's also been worried about electrical fires.
Craig enters with an unlit cigarette in his mouth.
67,800 fires in homes in the U.S. and 485 deaths just last year, Harrison. Mom, it's you. You came.
Tears up, goes to give her a hug, but it's awkward.
I thought when you didn't answer your phone, well, I had all kinds of thoughts. I won't bore you with my thoughts, but thank God you are here.
Hugs her again and keeps his arm around her.
Yes, well, Annie has already thanked God several times, in fact. My phone was out of range. Really. Of course, I came as soon as I could. Are you all right, Craig?
Yeah, sure. I'm great now, Mom.
Oh, so you're smoking.
Grabs cigarette he has just put back in out of his mouth.
And you're calling me and sending me flowers. Craig, what does it all mean? What's going on?
Well, I just miss you. And this is silly. I don't even remember why we were arguing.
Come on, Craig. You don't remember why you haven't spoken to me for almost 2 years?
All right. I remember you made me angry. You wouldn't let up. I didn't want to talk about it, any of it. And you just kept pushing and bringing it up. I'm fine. I was fine. I was handling it in my own time, my way. Can't we just be friends again? You're my mom.
Handling it? You let 2 years go by refusing to see me because you were handling it?
Yes. No. I don't know. I just know that I miss you. Even your stubbornness. I mean, look. I'm just like you. Just as pig-headed.
Always have been.
You know, the other day I was thinking about the paper airplanes. Remember? We used to throw them off the deck. Then I would run all the way downstairs and outside to retrieve them. And you would sing a song, usually the Muffin Man or Running on Empty, until I caught my breath, and then we'd launch our airplanes again.
Yes, I remember. I recall also the Easter before Megan died, that we all stood on the balcony with our airplanes. Oh, and some little parachute bunny she got in the basket. And she laughed and laughed when you did the running and came back all out of breath. And you huffed and puffed, and she
took over so I wouldn't pass out. I forgot.
You didn't forget, Craig. You pushed it away, just like you push Annie away, just like you pushed me away. Every week when I see Annie, I get so angry with you.
Every week? Annie? Every week?
Craig looks betrayed and pulls another cigarette from his pocket and puts it in his mouth.
Of course, every Thursday after school. I hear the things she needs to tell you. If you could just listen. When did this start?
What?
The smoking.
A couple of days ago?
That's smiling.
Oh,
A couple of days ago, and he's already up to 2 packs a day.
no, not anymore. I just wanted to hold it in my mouth.
Well, let me help you.
Grabs pack and lighter from Craig's pocket and lights his cigarette.
You might as well puff away.
Craig breathes in and holds his breath, then runs outside. We hear coughing and stomping out the cigarette. He returns to find Barb talking.
We might as well join him, Annie.
Hands Annie a cigarette, winks at her.
I've always wanted to give smoking a try.
Might as well. They say secondhand smoke is just as bad for you.
Stop!
What's the big deal?
Craig starts a breathing exercise and begins to hyperventilate. I know, but look, I'm on the patch. Rolls up his sleeve to show them his right arm and patch.
I wouldn't. I couldn't keep, I mean, Annie's pregnant and you're my mom. You could get a respiratory infection or cancer. And then there's the I wouldn't let that happen.
Craig grabs cigarette and pack from both of them, holding them like they are dynamite, runs to the door, throws them outside, stays by the door, begins locking it and unlocking it, checking that the knob turns as he does so.
Let me get this straight. He started smoking on Monday. He's up to 2 packs a day by Wednesday and on the patch by Sunday. That's got to be some kind of record.
I did it, Harrison. I threw those nasty cigarettes out in the street. I'm just going to leave them there too. I am.
Walks away from the door, pats Harrison, who is sitting on the couch.
I'm not going to worry about any little kids who might want to try smoking. I'm not going to worry about it at all.
Craig, you're talking to a dog that's, well, he's dead.
You don't think I know that? I'm aware. This is a little odd.
You left odd in the phone messages, honey. You've passed by freaky and are settling in on insane. Oh, I almost forgot. I brought you something.
Hands Craig the box from the table. He peeks inside.
Fluffy! Oh, you brought Fluffy!
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't give him to you a long time ago. He is yours after all.
Thanks, Mom. He pulls a turtle out of the box.
I've always wondered, why did you name him Fluffy?
Well, even though I was in college when Mom got him for me, and it had been a long time since Mitzi, then Mom told me she was going to get me a pet. I just knew it would be a kitten, so I used the name I had thought of years ago after Mitzi died. Come on, Fluffy. There's someone I want you to meet.
Takes Fluffy over to see Harrison.
I was thinking Fluffy would turn him away from the dead dog, but he seems to be introducing them.
Think we should make him an appointment to talk to someone?
I don't know. It's both bizarre and fascinating to watch. Craig, what's Wrong with you. You're scaring Annie to death.
I know. But I think I just figured out how to fix this.
How?
Well, it's like Mom said. You're so smart, Mom. You always have been. I was always so proud to have you as my mom. Remember when we went to the ice capades and then you took me out for ice cream sodas?
Craig, get to the point.
Right. You said you should have given Fluffy back to me a long time ago because he belongs to me. I just need to return Harrison here and a few other things to my patients, and then everything will be okay. You'll see.
Stands up and hugs Barb and then hands her a dust mask.
Here, Mom, wear this on the way home, and you can use it when you go to the grocery store. It's flu season. You can't be too careful. Don't worry, Annie. It'll be okay. I promise.
Snaps his wrist twice with the rubber band, yelps, and then kisses Annie on the cheek and exits.
I'm almost afraid to ask, but what's with the rubber band?
He says it distracts him from his irrational fears. Obviously, kissing me frightens him enough that he has to inflict some kind of pain to get past his fear.
Oh, Annie.
The scary thing is, to a certain extent, I'm starting to understand what's going on. At least I think so. Or at least how he is trying to handle what is happening.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I'm afraid to do anything. I mean, you saw him. He thinks he can fix it. I thought things were bad before, but at least I knew what to expect. Part of me wants to run like crazy and let him figure it out. But then I overheard one of his conversations with Harrison about Meg.
He was talking about Megan?
Yes, I was stunned. He was talking about being a dad, even about her being sick. What makes me crazy is he's opening up to a corpse of a dog, and he still can't talk to me.
Maybe it's time, Annie. Have you thought about what we talked about the last time I saw you?
Yes, but so much has changed since then. I need to be happy about the baby, but all I seem to be able to do is worry about Craig. I think he probably needs some kind of professional help.
You know he has to be the one to take that step.
You're right, but he's not going to. I've been waiting, hoping for so long that something would change. But this isn't what I could ever have imagined. For some reason, I thought this baby would somehow...
Barb hugs Annie as she sobs. Lights fade out. Lights come up to find Craig pacing and talking to himself.
A child could pick up those cigarettes, Dee Dee. They might smoke them. They could smoke them and choke on the smoke. They could smoke them and get cancer, and then they could die. Somebody's son or daughter could die. All because I am trying to stop thinking about picking up those damn cigarettes. And their dad, he would wonder why he had to bury the most beautiful, the most precious thing he ever had. He would yell at them to stop. Stop! Stop! She's only 5 years old. How dare you? How dare you put her in a box? Stop putting dirt on top of her. She can't breathe. Can't you see? She can't breathe with all that dirt on top of her.
Inhales deeply and runs out. Annie runs in from the other room a minute before he comes back in with the cigarettes.
Craig?
I've got him. It's okay. Everything's okay now.
You were yelling. What's wrong?
I took care of it, Megan. I'm not going to let these cigarettes hurt anyone. I promise. I promise no one else is going to die.
Craig, you called me Megan.
Oh, Annie, I was just trying to pick up some trash.
Hides cigarettes in his pocket. Doorbell rings.
I have some patients stopping by. I have to get that.
Craig, we need to talk.
Ding dong.
It'll have to wait, Annie. This is really important. I'm coming!
Craig snaps his wrist several times before opening the door. Annie exits stage right.
Lucy, come on in.
Dr. Fellows, wow, this is great. I get to see where you live.
It's not much, but it's comfortable. How are you, Lucy?
Good. I'm really good. You'll never guess. I've been to the shelter. I'm getting a
But what about Harrison? He's really been missing you.
going on here, Dr. Fellows?
What?
Well, I'm really flattered that you like Harrison, but is it possible that your feelings go deeper than that? I mean, you've invited me to your house.
Doorbell.
Maybe you've been missing me?
What?
Doorbell.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
Craig opens and shuts the door a couple of times, snaps a rubber band, and finally opens the door for Ted while Lucy walks toward Harrison.
Hey, Doc, you gonna let me in or what?
I apologize, Ted. Come on in. There's a fly I'm trying to get rid of.
Opens and closes the door again several times before shutting it.
I'm glad you're here. I've got something for you.
Tries to give Ted the cigarettes.
Whoa, those ain't mine, Dr. Fellows. Why are you trying to give me someone else's smokes?
Are you sure? I thought you might have left them at the office.
No, I'm more of a Marlboro man, if you know what I mean. But, hey, I've done real good the last few days. I've barely had any. I think I'm quitting. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm quitting.
Lights might be just the thing if you're quitting.
Hands Ted the cigarettes.
Have a seat, Ted. I'll be right with you.
Returns to Lucy, who is downstage from Ted and still talking quietly to Harrison.
I told you he missed you, Lucy. That's the happiest I've seen him since I brought him home.
Extremely loyal. But Dr. Fellows, I've never seen him talk to anyone like he has to you. Not even Al Rodgers. Maybe you should just keep him.
Keep him? Really? You mean it?
Snaps rubber band.
But no, Lucy, I can't. It wouldn't be right. He belongs with you.
Well, I could come and visit him sometimes. Like tonight. I'm free tonight.
Tonight? Well, that might work. It would give me and Harrison more time before he has to go. No, I can't, Lucy. This has to stop. You have to take Harrison back. Look at him. He needs you.
Ted has been pretending to read a magazine, but is really noticing Lucy and is about to put his feet on the coffee table when Craig rushes over to stop him.
Whoa, Ted. I just polished that. Not a good idea.
Hey, Doc, who's the hottie?
Hottie? You mean Lucy?
Yeah, Lucy.
I don't think she's your type, Ted. So do you think you can take these smokes off my hands? Technically, they're not yours, but I am not sure who.
Is Lucy hitched?
Craig begins turning the radio on and off.
Hitched? No, she's not. But like I said, I don't think she's your type.
My type? What are you talking about? You barely know me.
What I mean is she's too old for you. She's got to be close to your mom's age. How is your mom?
I don't know. Haven't talked to her all week. Hey, that's it. I knew Lucy reminded me of someone.
Who?
Lucy. She looks like my mom. Here, look.
Ted unbuttons his shirt and before Craig can stop him, opens it so Craig can see his shoulder, but the audience is blocked by the shirt.
Oh, no, Ted. That's really not necessary. And there she is, your mother. Wow. No, no, no. I don't see it. Your mom looks so young.
Yeah, but this was like about 10 years ago. Imagine her a little older.
Still not seeing it, Ted, but your mom, she is a good-looking woman.
Yeah, she's a beauty. That's for sure.
And you haven't talked to her all week? I saw mine this morning. I thought you two were close.
You think I should call her?
What do you think, Ted?
Lucy comes up behind Craig.
If tonight doesn't work, Dr. Fellows, tomorrow night would be fine. I could bring some wine.
What? Wine?
Sure. It's the least I could do. Do you like Chardonnay?
Lucy, please. Just give me one more minute with Ted here.
Okay. But you think about it.
Gives them some space, looks at the photographs or books while they talk.
Oh, I see how it is, Dr. Fellows. No wonder you weren't eager to introduce me to Lucy.
No. Oh, no, Ted. You got it all wrong. Lucy is a patient.
Not very ethical, Doc. I better go. You really think these lights will help me quit?
Yes, please take them. But you don't understand. Lucy and I, there's nothing.
Your business, Doc. Really. I gotta go. You know, Mom's birthday's in a couple of days, and, well, I think you're right. I need to give her a call. Make some plans. You're right about Lucy, too. She's cute, but she doesn't hold a candle to my mom.
Heads toward the door. Craig stops him as he is about to leave.
Hey, wait, Ted. Take these two.
Hands him a box of nicotine patches.
When you're done with the lights and the urge gets stronger, try these. Maybe you can quit for good. Make Mom proud.
Sure. Thanks, Doc.
Exit.
I thought he'd never leave. The gig is up, Dr. Fellows. Maybe I should call you Craig, since we're not in the office. And don't worry about the whole crossing the line of the patient-doctor relationship thing. You've always been a complete gentleman toward me. I don't have to be your patient anymore.
What?
Annie comes out with a suitcase and sets it down by the kitchen table.
Who was that?
Who?
A woman. A woman just came in from the other room and put the suitcase right there. Who is she?
That would be Annie, my wife.
You're married? What about us?
Us? Lucy. The only us is you are my patient.
That's not enough, Craig. I've seen the way you look at me sometimes, with one eyebrow raised.
Come on, Lucy. I look at all my patients that way. It isn't flirtatious. It's more inquisitive.
But you cried, and you took Harrison home with you. We've had some kind of connection. You can't deny that. You told me about your kitty.
You're right. We do.
But you're married. So it's not the kind of connection where we live happily ever after. Is it?
No. I'm sorry. It isn't.
So, well, that transferring thing just keeps working its magic. I've just been feeling so good. I guess I was thinking it had something more to do with you than it did. What are we going to do with Harrison?
He missed you, Lucy. You take him home.
Craig hugs Harrison and reluctantly hands him to Lucy.
He's yours.
Thank you, Craig. I mean, Dr. Fellows.
Craig closes the door behind Lucy and counts to 5 as he opens and closes.
No, thank you, Lucy. 1, 2, down.
Shuts door.
1 to go. I'm not shaky. I don't need this anymore.
Rips off patch. Annie enters carrying another bag.
Annie, I did it. Annie, where are you going?
I'm leaving, Craig.
You have a conference, a retreat or something?
No. I'll be at your mom's for a few days and then, well, I'll have to let you know.
You can't leave. It's working. Look, no more patch. And Harrison, he's gone. Gone forever.
It's not about that. I've been thinking about it for some time now. When we just lost Megan, well, it severed something in you, in us. I just can't pretend it's going to be okay anymore.
You're really leaving?
Yes. I'm taking the van. We can figure things out later, but it's time, Craig. I want the photo albums, the exercise equipment, and the rocking chair. That's all I want, really.
The baby, Annie. I want the baby.
Of course you'll get to see the baby, but right now, what are you doing?
I have OCD, Annie. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Somehow I caught it from one of my patients. I'm checking these plugs to make sure they plug and unplug okay. Then I will probably change all the plugs in the house, and then I will probably strip all of the plugs off of all of our appliances and lamps and the television and replace them with these. It's called responsibility OCD. I want to save the world from anything and everything bad that is even the minutest chance of happening. It's why I have to constantly check the light switch, the doorknobs, the locks to make sure they're safe, and why I am suddenly obsessed with germs.
The dust masks?
Yeah, especially when I remembered that on the field trip last year, Bobby Yeager vomited all over the bus. That's why I was so adamant. I can't control my thoughts. It's so bizarre. I've worked for years with patients. I think it's worse because I'm a doctor. I feel like I'm supposed to know better how to deal with all of this, but I can't stop it. I feel so helpless.
Craig, I can't do this. I have to go.
Looks toward the door.
Please, Annie. It's like with Megan. I held her in that hospital bed, and she was so little. She was so very little.
Annie stops and turns around.
But she knew you were there, and you were so big.
No. I tried. But I was little too. And then she stopped. She just stopped.
She stopped breathing. You were there? I thought you said they took her. I went to go get some food and
she stopped. Just like they said she might. I couldn't make her work.
But you tried? Oh God, you were there when I didn't know.
I tried, Annie. I did. Just little breaths. Like they teach you, and I pushed on her heart. Dee Dee, she was there. I begged Megan. Megan, Mommy's coming. Please, please, wait for Mommy.
You never told me.
I couldn't. God knows I tried. The nurse finally came and looked and took over. I prayed, begged, really. I just wanted to fix her. I just wanted her to live. She was my little girl, the very best part of you and me. I just wanted, and I couldn't. God, I couldn't.
Annie hugs him. Lights. Curtains. Act 3, Scene 4. Lights come out. 3 days have passed. Craig has his gloves on, measuring the legs of the kitchen table. Doorbell rings. Craig snaps rubber band on his wrist several times and opens the door.
Thank God, Jim. Come on in. I'm so glad you could come. I have been trying to reach you for 3 days. I have to give you something.
I'm the one who should be giving you stuff, Doc. I mean, I feel like you've given me my life back. It's a miracle. That's what it is. I couldn't take a thing from you, Doc. And more than that, come on in here, Margaret.
Are you sure it's okay?
Sure.
Jim takes Margaret's hand.
I've got a lot to thank you for, Doc.
Margaret, I thought we discussed this.
But you heard what Jim said. He's cured.
Cured?
That's right, Doc. No more obsession, no more worrying, no more crazy thoughts triggering in me. And look, no gloves or rubber bands.
Craig hides his gloves and hands behind his back.
But Jim, that's just temporary. That's what I need to talk to you about.
No, Dr. Fellows, you don't understand. We've spent most of the weekend together, and believe me, he hasn't had one odd behavior. Unless you count not wanting to let go of my hand.
She's right, Doc. Not one. The only thing consuming my thoughts is Margaret here. I am done with OCD, and I am going to holler from the rooftops that you're the one who's done it.
You just don't understand what's happening, Jim.
We're in love.
Not what's happening between the two of you, Margaret. I mean, what's happening. Jim, you haven't had any crazy thoughts or strange behaviors, because I have them. I've had almost all of them. That's what I was talking about. You have to take them back.
Craig tries to hand Jim the handkerchief.
Oh, no, sir. No, thank you. I don't want it back. You can just keep all of it.
But I don't know how to deal with any of it.
Craig is freaking out and starts flipping the radio on and off.
You're the psychiatrist, Doc.
Yeah, but I'm not. I can't. I never seem to be able to help myself.
Here, Dr. Fellows.
Pulls him away from the radio.
Sit down. We can figure this out.
Wait!
Craig unfolds the handkerchief and then refolds it, smooths it out several times, and sits on it.
Wow, you really have. I thought you might be... Jim, did you see that?
I know. I don't think I could function the rest of my life like this.
Try 20 years.
Yes, but Jim, you're used to it. It just hit Dr. Fellows all at once. And it really does belong to you.
Used to it? Oh, that's really funny, Margaret. You think OCD is something you get used to? No, I can't. I won't.
In my office, you said, what I wouldn't give for just one day. Well, you've had almost a week. Please, I have things I have to take care of.
Sorry, Doc. No can do. Look, you couldn't pay me enough to go through that again. Not ever. I can't remember even feeling so so free in my thoughts and not having to do all the rituals over and over.
Darn it all, Jim. I'll help you, I swear. But you can't leave me like this. It's just not right. Oh my God. Oh my gracious.
Help yourself, Doc. I appreciate all you've done for me, but I'm done with it.
Jim, he just took your accent. What's going on?
I just kept it because you liked it.
Margaret looks at Craig, then at Jim.
Oh, that's so sweet. You see how wonderful he is, Dr. Fellows?
He's a real peach, Margaret. Come on, Jim. Prove to Margaret that you're the man she thinks you are.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry, Margaret, but I can't risk getting OCD back, not even for you. But I'll hang on to the accent, Doc. But that's it. You'll have to figure out the rest for yourself. I'm sorry, Margaret.
Jim exits.
No, don't go, please.
Well,
Well, what?
what are you going to do?
What is there to do?
I hate to tell you this, but this has been the best weekend of my life. I mean, we petted the bunnies and we went country swing dancing, and I think I love that man. I liked working for you, Dr. Fellows, but this is once in a lifetime.
Margaret, maybe you could convince him.
It's like he's just been released from prison. I can't force him back into a cell. I have to go, Doc.
Margaret exits, shutting the door behind her. Craig locks and unlocks the door several times.
Well, that's it then. Can't blame him, really.
Craig opens and closes the door 2 more times. Margaret re-enters on the second opening.
Okay, I'll take it. But I'm not making any promises.
She holds her hands out for the handkerchief.
Do you hear me? No promises.
It's okay, Margaret.
Keeps the handkerchief.
I shouldn't have asked you. Besides, I think I'm feeling better.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not absolutely positive, but I'm not so aware of every little thing. I forgot that it's natural to find some comfort in your own psychosis. Like for Lucy, she really wanted Harrison back, even though she no longer needs him. Jim didn't feel natural without his accent, and so
He took it back.
it's okay. I think he knew what he was doing. He'll need you. Go, Margaret. It's okay. Go.
Thanks, Doc.
He hugs him and exits. Craig continues opening and closing the door. Annie enters stage right, sets a book on the table.
You still working on that door?
Comes up behind Craig and hugs him.
No. I was just thinking, there's something strangely comforting in the opening and the closing. Letting things out, things you never wanted, things you never expected, things you have no control over. And letting things in, things you never wanted, things you never expected, things you have no control over.
Craig continues to open and close the door while speaking, then turns toward Annie, embraces her. Lights fade, curtains. Fiend.
Yay!
Hey.
Yay!
Yay, your aunt's brilliant.
Yay!
Great job, everybody. That was fantastic.
Air high five.
As with all of our Zoom reading series, we like to promote charity to donate to. Again, an executive decision to donate to the Marsha P. Johnson Institute. Terrific place. Marsha P. Johnson was involved in the Stonewall riots. donate to these things. Very terrific. MarciaP.org is the website for anybody that's watching in the future and is not a part of the chat. Anybody that's here and wants part of the chat, I linked it to us. We have about section. You can donate. Overall, that's the thing that we're donating to this week. Please come on Monday for our edited discussion, which includes talk back with the director, and not just all of us talking, or not director, the writer. Sorry.
Yes, author.
The author, the playwright.
Yes.
That's the one.
That's all of those words. Come be a part of that. Ask questions about why they wrote this play, what they meant by the play, and share your wonderful ideas so that we can all hear them, because you're all wonderful and beautiful people. I think that's all I have. Does anybody else have anything they want to say?
Hey, thanks, Andy, for your aunt doing this.
I had nothing to do with the creation of my aunt, but thank you. I will certainly, if you all are not able to come to the discussion, which I hope you will, I can certainly pass on your commentary and feedback and things like that. So if you have thoughts about the play and would like to send them to me or to just the Miscreant email, that would be fantastic. Or if you have some questions that you would like to discuss with the author, please send those on over as well. But otherwise, please come to the discussion. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Great.
Yeah, agreed. Also, if you're free, come watch other people read this play tomorrow night.
Yeah.
People in
Yeah.
audience.
Good idea.
Great job, everybody.
Great job.
Good job.
Fun.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Woo.
stop recording unless anybody else has anything important they want to say.
I was just gonna say if anybody else knows playwrights that have original works they want to bring to us, we'd be happy to read them and share it with people. Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly. Or if you any of you have written plays,
Yes.
bring them on out. We'll read them.
Yeah.
Sort of read the stage directions correctly.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
I'm record.
Thanks,